First and foremost, we like to give all praises and glory unto the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Basham, Yahushai, Basham, Makadash. Like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone Rulewell, who teach us this truth through the Spirit and power, Yahweh, Basham, Yahushai. Peace and salutation to the Akiams and Maudu, pushing the gospel in sincerity and truth. Today, the brothers from Trinidad GMS camp, we coming to with another edifying lesson to the elect at the house of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. This lesson we want to do, is on Revelation 22:5. We'll talk about no night in Zion. Because a lot of people, they got it twisted, thinking that, it ain't going on no night. A lot of these rastas, claim to say, it ain't going on no darkness, no night, but it's only light. And it's not so. They do err, not knowing the scriptures. Right? But it ain't talking about that. Right? Because if it are no night, because the scripture says if you get one precept before I start talking about that Revelation, if you get Ecclesiastes 3 verse 14.
Ecclesiastes 3 and 14. I know that whatsoever the Most High do it, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it. And the Most High do it, that men should fear before him.
Yes, so everything the Most High do, it shall be forever. The earth abideth forever. The sun, the star, the moon. That's right. Everything gonna remain. Everything gonna be there. Doing its office. That's right. Because the scriptures, it show that the Most High ordinance not gonna change. Right? We're gonna be keeping Passover. We're gonna be keeping the feast. So if it had no night, then how would it at the end? How would at the end?
And then when the Most High created these things, what to his elect son and then the elect angels, what did he say after they were complete? It is good.
It is good.
So you have no need to get rid of that. What he created that was good from the foundation of the earth.
So if it was just a day alone, Israel would have, when the prophets always preaching, they would have gate. They would have take heed to it. But the Lord didn't put it like that. Right?
How would we have the service of the moon? Because the moon is the lesser light to rule by night. And from the moon is where we're going to observe Sabbaths. So how we going to be able to know the Sabbaths, mark the Sabbaths and the new moons if it have no night? That moon could rule. Doesn't make sense. Yeah. But there's the precept they got it from, you can bring it out.
Revelation 22 and 5. Right? And there shall be no light, no slack. I'll start from 4. And they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads, and there shall be no night there. And they shall need no candle, neither light of the sun, for the Lord Yahweh shall give it them light, and they shall reign forever and ever.
That elect, because them going on that seal, that mark in the mind, which is the name of Yahweh Shem Yoshai. Right? Because if them will have that little knowledge, where Yahweh Shem Yoshai give them. Because not all Jakes in that light. Jake in darkness right now.
That's right.
Jake without a candle right now. So the Lord give, the elect, give them that little light, to show them, a little way where they could walk.
Right.
But in time, the Lord gonna remove that veil, and they're gonna know all things. Because right now, they just have a little to sustain them, to prophesy, knowing parts and prophesying parts. But when the Lord remove that veil, they're gonna know all things.
Right. That's why Scripture says when the books be open, that means everything that will be known.
There's Isaiah 60 and verse 1. It says, "Arise and shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, And the darkness, we call the darkness night. So for behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness. The people which represents what? The ignorance, the false doctrines that comes with the ignorance. All right, that is what's covering the place today. Christianity, Islam, the pseudoscience. All right, all the different mythologies like we went through in the last lesson there. Hell, you know, talking about celestial beings fell from the third heaven. You know, that is all lies darkness covering the people. But the Lord shall arise upon thee. As it says, he called us out of darkness into his marvelous light. That's right. And his glory shall be seen upon thee, because the light that we have now seen, it begins to shine through us. As he told the disciples, let your light so shine. So it's no night there. Because talk about them having it in their forehead, representing the elect as they rightfully mentioned, and that is in the kingdom to come.
There will be no more ignorance there.
That's right.
That is what that means.
And being that it wouldn't have any ignorance throughout the entire nation of Israel, as it says in Jeremiah 31, somebody could read that? Jeremiah 31:31. They shall all know me.
Jeremiah 31:31. Behold, the days cometh. Behold, the days cometh, said Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah.
Right.
Behold, the days cometh, said Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah.
The two kingdoms, northern and southern of the nation of Israel. Right.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant
they break.
Which my covenant they break. Although I was a husband unto them, said Yahweh.
Joined to him, married unto you. Right.
But this shall be the covenant that I will make with thee, the house of Israel, after those days, said Yahweh. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it on their hearts.
And when the scripture says about the law is a lamp. You understand? Well,
I will put it and will be their power, and they shall be my people.
Well,
and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor.
They shall teach no more every man his neighbor. So when it is we under this new covenant, which begins when the kingdom comes, because right now we're still teaching. Yeah. When is the time coming we're going to teach no more in the kingdom? All right, when the elect is delivered, brought back to the land of Israel, having people under them, having nations building up their walls, all right, having sex, making children, and these children, when they come out, they ain't going to have to be taught about Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, all right, or being stripped from pagan gods to now know about Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. This is what they're going to know from their very birth, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, all right. So that's why it said in the same Revelation 22, what there was no candle. No candle. What the candle represents? Are the precept in Proverbs? Because it says in Zechariah, was it Zephaniah? The Most High says you're going to search Jerusalem with candles.
Proverbs?
Yeah, go ahead.
Proverbs 20 verse 27. He said the spirit of man is a candle of the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, searching all the inward parts of the belly.
That's right. The spirit of man is a candle. All right, and the ones with the spirit is his prophets.
God.
All right, the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. God. That is the candle the Lord using today. And when he was talking to the disciples, he said, well, neither do men take a candle and put it on a bushel, but they put it on a stand to give light unto everyone that is in the house.
Yeah. When you read where just talk both, you know, we see the road books, you know, you try to get them that wisdom, and we see to show someone to the worthy and the unworthy that they may read, but keep the 70th part unto the elect, unto the wise.
Right.
You know, for them to teach. You know, them is that torch. Them is that light.
Yeah. Is Zephaniah. Zephaniah chapter 1 and verse 12, and it shall come to pass at that time that I will search Jerusalem with candles and punish the men that are settled on their lees, that say in their heart, the Lord will not do good, neither will he do evil. Now what the Lord doing right now is searching Jerusalem with the candles, having his men out on the highways and hedges, declaring this word, prophesying unto you, showing his people their transgressions, even marking certain two-thirds unto death. As scripture say, whosoever sins you remit, basically, they are remitted. Whatsoever thou bound on earth is bound in heaven. Whatsoever thou loose on earth is loosed in heaven. The Lord is using his men today. These are the candles, but in the kingdom to come, this ministry that we have here, it ain't gonna be going on. We ain't gonna have to be doing these videos to rebuke Jakes. You know, we ain't gonna have to be doing this fishing that we're doing now. We're searching Jerusalem. We ain't gonna have to be doing that. Because they're going back to what the brother was reading. You shall teach no more. You have it still? Jeremiah 31. Let's finish it over.
Right. Right. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahweh, for they shall all know me.
They shall all know me. Right?
From the least of
no
them.
Ignorance. Because to be ignorant is to not know. All right? And ignorance is darkness. That's what the darkness represents. So the Lord is going to be an everlasting light unto us. All the nation of Israel is going to know the Lord. Go ahead.
From the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith Yahweh, for I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more.
That was basically the point. What it says in Revelation 22.
Lord say, no, you carry away no more into captivity, to be scattered throughout, the four corners of the earth, that, we are a fish for the elect. It take we not be so. Right? So that doctrine, with the Rastas, like I said, no night, that is foolishness. That the traditions that are meant,
private interpretation.
Yeah. Right? Again, Jeremiah 31, start at 35.
The next verse. Thus saith Yahweh, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinance of the moon and of the stars for the light by night, which divided the sea when the waters were raw. Yahweh of hosts, it says that the Lord of hosts is his name. Yahweh is his name, right? If those ordinances depart from before thee, saith Yahweh, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation from before me.
Yeah, and that is not so, because the nation of Israel gonna rise. That's right. Them gonna rule in the kingdom. Right? They're gonna rule over these nations.
Revelation 22:5, it says they reign forever and ever. Yeah. And who's one's going to reign? As it says in Daniel, the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom, possess the kingdom forever and ever. And we know the saints are.
So the Lord is breaking it down here for you. If these things are to be removed, then Israel not going to rule. Israel not going to lead. So it exists. Where does that come on?
Okay. Thus saith Yahweh, if the heaven above can be measured, and the foundation of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith Yahweh.
Yeah, but it's not so, because the Lord going to show them that tender mercies.
That's right. This is Isaiah chapter 60 and starting at verses 10. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls. That we know that is prophetic. That is the come. Because right now we building strangers' walls. We doing servant work. We are the slaves. As Baruch said it, we are yet this day in our captivity. All right. It says, and the king shall minister unto thee when the Lord comes. And he flips the script. All right. As it says in Psalm 149, to execute upon them the judgment written to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. They're going to have to minister, they're going to have to serve us. Continue, it says, and for in vain, for in my wrath, I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Therefore, it says here, therefore thy gate shall be open continually, they shall not be shut day nor night.
Shall not be shut, and Apostle Paul was saying, he has the Most High cast away his people which he foreknew. The Most High cast away, he was just Most High was just bringing we to that understanding to know, how it is, to show us his mercy, Most High cast away when he talk about rent, he rent Israel. Rent doesn't mean done away with. That was just a period of time. So we can get ourselves right. Right?
It says,
right.
Let's read it again. Isaiah 60 and verse 11. Therefore thy gate shall be open continually. Now when you think about the gates being open, like you go back to the book of Ezekiel, I believe it's Ezekiel 46. It says, if you can just read about Ezekiel 46 and 1.
Ezekiel 46 and 1. Thus said Yahweh, the gate of the inner courts that looketh toward the east shall be shut. The 6 working days.
The 6 working days, the gate shut.
But on the Sabbath it shall be open.
On the Sabbath represents the meaning of it, rest. Shabbat. On the rest, it will be what?
It shall be open.
It will be open on the rest. But
and in the day of the new moon.
Why in the day of the new moon? This is a scripture to prove that the new moon is a Sabbath as well. The first Sabbath of the month, to be precise. The first of the month. You understand? 2 rest days is going to be open. So the gates being open represents what? Rest. So the scripture saying here in Isaiah 60 and verses 11, therefore thy gate shall be open continually. A continual rest.
And that scripture say he has stretched forth his hand only unto rebellious people.
That's right.
You always do good, you always do for Israel.
That's right.
Always show them mercy.
It says, they shall not be shut day nor night. So it's going to have night.
Yeah.
It's going to have night.
It's
going to have the same time of the day. You understand? Same times that we have in today. Day, let's have a day period, 12 hours in the day, 12 hours in the night. That's going to continue on forever. That men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought to do what? To serve. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish, yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. And we could close the book there.
we could close the book there.
Yes,
we can give Psalm 89, start at verse 34, 37.
It's the book of Psalm, chapter 89.
We'll see 2 books that you're not supposed to read before you learn the scriptures is Genesis and Revelation. So leave them books alone. Learn the scriptures first and then
Psalm 89. Psalms 89 verse 34 says, my covenant will I not break, nor alter the thing that is gone out of my lips.
Yes, so the Lord done create this already and say it was good. Right? He ain't change nothing to do over something else to remove the moon. No, the covenant will not break because the Lord, all the moon, the stars, the other office where the Lord command them to do. They just do these things. Pleasing unto Yahweh Hashem your shine. To shine in the firmaments. The Lord put them to do.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
It says, once I have sworn by my holiness that I will not lie unto David.
Sworn by holiness. Man to lie, to break his promise, or break his covenant.
magnify his word above all his name. It says, verses 36, it says, his seed shall endure forever, and his throne as the sun before me, and the sun rules the day, right?
Yeah.
It shall be established forever as the moon.
It shall be established forever as the moon. Right?
Cut. And as a faithful witness in heaven, Selah.
So it's gonna be established as the moon forever. So it's going and have night. You know, it's going to have night.
And you know why Jakes take everything so literal? It's because they're not spiritual. That's a good title. They take everything literal because they're not spiritual. Yeah. They go through the scriptures. A lot of things that were written in a poetic way, were written in a parabolic way, allegoric, metaphoric way. All right, meaning the things that are being expressed are mere similitudes. As the scripture says in Hosea, he used similitudes by the prophets. Okay, get up, I believe that is Hosea 12 and 10. Hosea 12 and 10. The prophets on the scene today making them plain for you on tables. So because it could be confusing to you if it is Isaiah saying it ain't gonna be shut day or night, and then Revelation talking about it all night. That's why they say the Bible are contradiction, but the contradiction is not in the words, it's in your mind.
Contradiction is you, Jake.
Your understanding is contradicted, not having the spirit. Not hearkening to the men that he said to the teacher, as the scripture says, rightly dividing the words of truth. Right?
Hosea 12 and 10. I have also spoken by the prophets. And
so the Most High speak to men. All right? Some people come out there and say, well, is not God. Let God judge me. Only God could judge me. But the Lord is son of men. When the Lord casts any judgment, he is send men to lay no judgment. All right? He is send men to, as the scripture says, from men which are thy hand, O Lord. And as it says in Hebrews 1, the Most High at sundry times and diverse manners speaking time past unto the fathers by who? The prophets. All right, had in these last days spoken unto us by his son, and his son was known as the prophet. The same prophets anyway, the ones coming up today in the belief in Yahushai, the ones having been sent by Yahushai, the apostles, they are also prophets. All right, under another title, apostle or elder, you know, ministers, pastors, that's the prophets for you. Well,
I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions.
Multiplied visions, as you just that Revelation 22 was a vision. John the Revelator on the Isle of Patmos was seeing these sequence of visions that was shown to him for these last times. So we heading into as well. And he told him things which must shortly come to pass. All right, and he sent down what signified it. When they go into that word signified it unto John by his angel. When they go into the word signified, it was to give an indication. These are things in here in the scriptures, the visions that they receive were indications. It's now up to the men of the Lord, the kings, the honor of kings to what? Search out the matter. Well,
is there iniquity in I have multiplied visions and used similitudes.
Similitudes, likening one thing to the next. Like in school, they learn some similes, you know, likening the lightning of one thing to the next. Well,
by the ministry of the prophets.
By the ministry of the prophets. It's all about what the prophets saying in these times. Forget what Pastor Porkchop telling me about blessed pork and eat it. Ask Pastor Porkchop what that means. There shall be no night. He started to scratch his head.
He might say the same thing. They're going to have no night in the kingdom.
Because they already believe it and no eating and drinking. And they don't have no sex in the kingdom of heaven. And some Muslims, I was listening to some Muslims that time, they saying they think not have any bathing.
What?
In the kingdom. In
Okay.
the kingdom to come, there is no bathing.
But they're
playing and be sweating.
Which scripture is
so you don't need to bathe.
Because that's about no the scripture says the Lord shall pour upon them the spirit of deep sleep. And then believe a lie. precept. Sirach 43 now. It's 5.
Sirach 43. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 43, and verses 5. It says, "Great is the Lord that made it, and at his commandment it runneth. Hastily he made the moon also to serve in a season for a declaration of times, and a sign of the world. From the moon is a sign of peace, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. The month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven."
Yeah, so the moon is a sign of feast. Feast will be taking place then. What shall I say? You know, we're gonna drink that wine with him. He pass over all these things gonna be kept. All the nation of Israel gonna come to Jerusalem to worship. Right? So hey, for a day to pass, so to know when the new moons them coming in, when it's this month or when it's that month, how are you gonna know?
That's right.
Right.
You only ever had to have night.
Had to have night.
Because to see the moon's full glory, all right, it had to be dark. But they just talked about shining in the firmament of heaven. The moon don't shine in the day. You might see the moon in the day, but it don't be shining. That shining is come when the night comes in. You understand? And the moon always has light. There's no point where the moon goes to complete darkness. But the scripture says the moon is a light that decreaseth in her perfection.
So, you know, it's going on an order in the kingdom of heaven, right? Not to work on a Sabbath. So if it have no night, then the day will just continue and you can right through them. You know, no rest, no day of rest. You know, the holy Sabbath.
So they that sleep in the night. Night was for sleep. So we want to take as you said. Scripture said you will sleep and your sleep will be sweet or something like that. You know. That is saying be joyful upon their beds.
Yeah.
When our beds for.
Yeah. Like the question, Christians, what do you think kingdom of heaven would be like? What do you think? There's some space thing out and space thing over the clouds and children go be running to the clouds and look at Hellman thing. This is the
First of all, they talk about a rapture and they don't even explain to you how they're going to get raptured. What is going to take them up?
what
They
thing
just
is
want to take a clothes and disappear over here and they just go on.
yeah. No, they make movies of it, they're just missing people of the other.
The new scripture said they heard a voice saying, "Come hither," and the enemies beheld them.
Yeah.
So the true rapture to come or the abduction to come is going to be seen. It's going to be on display. You're going to see men going up into to vehicles via the tractor beam that's going to be sent down upon them. The pillar of light or pillar of fire by day. So it's all evident. And hey, let me get this precept here. Get this precept here, brother. To prove it's going to have night. Another one, Isaiah chapter 4. Isaiah the 4th chapter. Isaiah chapter 4 and verses 5. I start at verses 4. It says, when the Lord shall have, Isaiah 4 and 4, when the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion. This is what he's beginning to do now. He's washing us through this word. Ephesians 5 and 26. Sanctify them through the washing of water by the word. It says, and shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the spirit of judgment. Judgment is going to come. And the ultimate judgment is by the nuclear missiles and the chariots of the Lord. And by the spirit of burning. So the Lord is going to bring fire on this place, which is going to lead to the destruction of Babylon, the destruction of two-thirds, and also the deliverance of the elect. Saved out of that fire and brought up to the ozone layer in the chariots to see the destruction. Only by thine eyes shall thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, John the Revelator says he saw a sea of glass mingled with fire. All right, spirit of burning. And the Lord will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Zion and upon her assemblies in the kingdom a cloud and smoke by day and the shining of flaming fire by night.
So I mean,
For upon all the glory shall be defense.
What does it mean divine night? What is that about?
That's going into the chariots.
Yeah. Numerous scriptures come out proving, it will have night. For new data coming.
Things that have no more ignorance, as we explained. At night, we say there shall be no more night. And when we could go into that with night in Revelation 22:5, let's go into the blue letter. Good night. The scriptures in Thessalonians, 1 Thessalonians 5, 1 Thessalonians 5 talks about the children of the day and not of the night. It's all used in a metaphoric sense. Even in Psalms 82, we read in the previous lesson, verses 5 says what? They walk on in darkness. The foundation of the earth is out of course. Darkness representing the ignorant and the sinful way that our people live today.
See, night.
Well, the Strong's G.
G
3571. Strong's G 3571.
Luke, right?
Famine. No. Night. Metaphor, the time when work ceases, the time of death, the time of deeds of sin and shame, the time of moral
Stupidity.
Moral
stupidity, and that was the condition of Jakes in today.
Time of moral stupidity and darkness, the time when the weary and also the drunken give themselves up to slumber.
That's right. He said, the time of death, the scripture said, there shall be no more death amongst them, amongst us, the nation of Israel. These other nations, they're going to have night among them. They're going to be in darkness.
It's easy to do one day.
Literally, darkness that night.
The time of moral stupidity and darkness.
First Thessalonians 5.
1 Thessalonians 5 and 1. For the times and the seasons, virgin, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of your hour so cometh as the thief in the night.
Metaphor to use again. Night. As a thief in the night, he coming when you're least expecting, not that the Lord coming back when it is night. All right, that's metaphor. You describe how the Lord's going to catch these two thieves with their pants down. They ain't looking out for him. All right, good.
For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape.
They shall not escape. Jeremiah 11:11 is going to bring evil upon them, which they shall not be able to escape. And when they cry unto him, he's not going to hearken unto them. That's a dark place to be in.
Yeah.
You ain't seeing that light at the end of the tunnel.
Very dark place.
Jacob's shovel is going to be it for you 2/3.
That darkness, he's so going to be it. But you can say, when you read Deuteronomy, you shall put all these curses upon our enemy. We're going to be in that dark state. Cover them in that cloud.
Right?
But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief.
See, in Corinthians, Satan should have advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his deeper. We're not in darkness. We are the saints in light. We know. We see. As the scripture says, having the eyes of your understanding enlightened. Ephesians, the 1st chapter. Well,
yeah, all the children of light. Lucifer. Like ones.
That's right.
And the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken, are drunken in the night.
And we see it now today. These people in the night, it's dark out here, and these people are asleep. They didn't even know it. They in that state of ignorance. Like Scripture said, deep sleep. You pour upon them the spirit of deep sleep. Eyes that they shouldn't see, ears that they shouldn't hear unto this day.
We now look up to the darkness.
Gone.
Right? See the time when the weary are also drunk, giving themselves up to slumber.
And they're drunk. What they drunken with? Them philosophies. Too strong drink, are they out of the way? Go ahead.
Rich.
They are drunken but not with wine. This is 8.
This one. But let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love.
Righteousness. But
And for the helmet, the hope of salvation.
of what? Salvation. And salvation is going to come through who? Yahweh.
Shai.
And Yahweh was described as what? The Son. It says that in Malachi, the Son of Righteousness, S-U-N. He's also known as in Revelation 22, the bright and what? Morning star. So if the morning star is going to be amongst us, how we go see night? He's not the night star, he's the morning star. So there shall be no night. The Lord is going to be amongst us. We're going to be at peace, we're going to be at rest, we're going to be abiding in his knowledge, in his wisdom. He's going to be flowing through us. Entire nation of Israel, thy people shall all be righteous. It begins with his elect.
We are not that light, eternity.
That's right.
Lord gonna remove that veil, we're gonna be brightened. Knowledge and power, Yahweh Shem Shai.
Scripture saying, among whom he shine as lights in the world. Because the light of the Lord is, as I read earlier in Isaiah 60, it is risen upon thee. The Lord has done already dispatched his light unto us by his word. All right, that is now in us today. As it says in Sirach chapter 24. Sirach 24 and verses. Right. Verse 27, it says, he maketh doctrine of knowledge appear as the light.
Right.
The doctrine of knowledge, and we have the doctrine of knowledge. We have this truth. Sirach 24, verses 27. He maketh the doctrine of knowledge appear as the light. And the entire nation is going to have the doctrine of knowledge. Because we're going to have to teach any man saying, know the Lord. So no night there amongst the nation of Israel. And as Gideon in the time of the vintage. Right? Verse 32. It says, I will yet make doctrine to shine as the morning. And will send forth a light afar off. Understand? That light is being shed afar off throughout the world. Look through the medium, the internet. Look, we here in Trinidad, streaming live. Ella came on earlier, previous live from America. They see us all around the world with light shining. You know, brothers waking up in Guyana. A lot of these times that woke up was through the internet. That is that medium that's sending that light through the earth. You know, not forgetting the Holy Spirit, the body of angels that are distributed to the four corners of the earth, as it says in Revelation, the 5th chapter. These are the 7 spirits who Yahweh shall send forth, you know, to minister unto them that dwell on the earth. But
Continue. Thessalonians.
no, that's something. All right, let's finish off.
For the Most High had not appointed us to the wrath, but to obtain salvation.
Yeah, he had not appointed us to wrath. And that night represented, the first definition was death. You understand? Through the wrath of the Lord, death comes. But the Lord is saying, not appointing us to wrath. The kingdom to come, we're not going to be under his wrath. We're under the wrath now. So you could say, now we see a night.
Correct.
Go ahead.
But to obtain salvation by our Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, who died for us, that whether we wake or sleep, we should live together with him.
One of the key words is to obtain salvation. Will I go back to thy mercy? To obtain mercy. Because that what we open for, the mercy. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. First of all, the mercy. You know?
That's right, mercy. And it's already written who his mercy is going to be given to.
Yeah.
So it's great to be an Israelite.
The people are the day.
Come. That's right. Children are the day.
Children are the day.
That's right.
That's what we're going to be upon. Now, with that, we open was edifying. We like to give all praises and glory unto the Heavenly Father.
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, B'Kodesh.
I like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutation to the Akim Damode on the four corners of the earth, teaching the truth in sincerity. The brother from Trinidad, GMS camps in Shalom.
Sita,